Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. The Sephora sale is fast approaching. Normally that happens in April and we just got the confirmed dates. So the Sephora sale will be running from April 4th if you're a Rouge, and I think it's also for the Sephora collection. I don't know, whatever. I'll just put it up like here for reference. But just because there is a sale happening does not mean that we need to participate. First and foremost, let's get that in our brains. But if you're anything like me and you still want to dabble, you know, just pick up a little treat for yourself. I do have some rules and considerations for going into sales like this. I am somebody that has just a little bit of a spending problem, and I've been working really hard to try to minimize that and do better for myself. But again, I do enjoy makeup and fashion and spending my money. To still get that shopping craving during the sale, I make sure to follow a set of rules, and I also take a few things into consideration before jumping into the sale. So I thought might as well share what my rules are, what my considerations are, what I do pre-sale to make sure that I am setting myself up for success. So if you are looking for some guidance during the sale, keep watching. And I'm also going to have other videos kind of centered around the Sephora sale, just to kind of make the buying a little bit easier, as well as some recommendations in case you're curious. So it's gonna be like a little mini series. So make sure you're staying tuned and subscribing for that as well. All right, let's get into it. I have some notes. The first thing that you want to consider is the fact that the actual discount itself isn't that groundbreaking. For me, I personally think a good sale starts at 30% minimum. I don't know why these companies think they're doing us a massive favor by giving us a 15% or 20% discount. No, we need to bring back the doorbusters, okay? So with the Sephora sale, it's 10% if you're a beauty insider, which is just the minimum tier level. And then it's 15% if you are VIB. So I believe that's a $350 a year spend in order to reach that level. And then if you spend $1,000 a year, you get the Rouge status, and that's where you get the highest discount, which is 20%. And then the Sephora collection itself is 30%. So if you take a look at what the discount amounts are, 10% is nothing, 15% is also nothing, and then 20% is like, okay, maybe, like, sure, like you're saving a little bit. I know with where I live in Canada, that's our tax, basically. I am just essentially saving the tax and like a little bit off the top. So there's nothing groundbreaking about these discounts. It's not really worth it, but if you're planning on spending the money anyway, then you might as well take advantage. But just keep that in mind first. Another thing that we need to consider and just keep in the back of our minds is the fact that we don't actually need anything. If you have at least 1 to 2 products in every single category, you don't actually need anything from this sale. You know what I mean? At that point, we're starting to step a little bit closer into the overconsumption of it all. Just keep that in mind. So for me personally, I definitely have more than 1 or 2 items in each category. So that's something that I have to be mindful of. I'm going to go out and shop. I really have to think long and hard. Okay, maybe I don't need another lip product because on my vanity in front of me, I probably have like 15 to 20. So all of that considered, we can actually get into the rules of what I like to follow during the Sephora sale. Rule number 1 is research. If there are items in your wish list right now, I want you to make sure that you are researching every single product. And I don't just mean going on TikTok and finding whatever incentivized reviews you can find and just basing what you're purchasing off of what is the newest viral product. For example, the Milk Hydro Grip skin tint that's out right now, highly talked about right now. That's all anybody is talking about. And I feel like I haven't really heard one bad review about it either. So that either means that it's a very good product or it's just too many people are incentivized to actually try the product, and unfortunately, not everybody is going to be an honest reviewer. So when I'm thinking about a skin tint that I want to purchase, I'm almost out of the one that I'm using right now, and then the other skin tint that I have isn't exactly my shade match, and I'm not sure if I love it. So I am kind of in the market for a new skin tint. With that in mind, I am looking at all of the skin tint categories and what the brands have to offer. Yes, I could immediately jump on the Milk skin tint train, but it's important for me to do my own research. For me to do my own research, I might go to my local Sephora before the sale and pick up a sample of the skin tint and try it out at home on my own for a couple of days to see if I actually like the product. Or another thing that I like to do is I like to go on YouTube and I try to find creators on YouTube that have lower subscriber counts that may not be incentivized to actually review the product, because I want to see the everyday average person actually using these products before I make up my mind. And rule number 1 kind of ties into rule number 2, which is no impulse purchases. With no impulse purchases, I am going into Sephora with a plan in mind and also a wish list. So when I have a plan in mind, that means that let's circle back, I've done my research and I now have a plan. And if I wasn't able to do a little bit of the actual field testing of the product, so getting the samples, I am spending time in Sephora the day of when I am deciding to do my shop. I'm walking into Sephora, I am going to every single item that I have on my wish list. I am swatching that product in store. I'm getting a feel of it. I am testing as many shades as I possibly can. Is it tacky? Is it dewy? What are we experiencing here? How is this drying down? I am going to try to swatch it on my face. I am doing as much as I can to make sure that this is something that I actually want to purchase. If it is something that I am considering, I will put the item in my basket and I'll walk around the store and get a sense of how I'm actually feeling. That way, at the end of my shopping experience, I can actually take a look at what I have in my basket and actually figure out what it is from there that I like. And when you have a wish list, it makes the shopping experience a little less overwhelming. I know at my Sephora, our Sephora is quite small, but it can still be very overwhelming just because everything's a little bit more compact together. So if I have a wish list in mind, when I'm going into Sephora, I know exactly what gondola I need to be going to. Instead of going in there thinking, well, I just really need a lip liner. Okay, babe, there's probably 50 different brands here that all have a lip liner. Are you really gonna go to each and every single brand to swatch a lip liner? No, that sounds like an absolute nightmare to me, especially when the store is going to be busy. So I like to think, okay, I want a lip liner. I've been hearing everybody talking about Makeup Forever, everybody loves MAC, and everybody loves the Glossier lip liners. Okay, perfect. So I know that I want to try a lip liner from those 3 brands. So those are the 3 brands that I am going to hit when I go to Sephora. I am going to swatch their lip liners and figure it out from there. And maybe I'll even ask an associate. I'll say, hey, what lip liner are you loving right now? And maybe they'll also guide me to a lip liner that they enjoy. At the end of the day, that's my plan. I have a wish list in mind of a lip liner from 3 different brands, and then those are the brands that I am going to hit when I get to Sephora. Does that make sense? Perfect. And then when you also consider the piece of impulse shopping, I find a lot of the times if I impulse purchase something, 9 times out of 10, it's a product that I actually don't end up enjoying. And I can think of 2 instances where this has happened to me, and they were both lip products. One item that I purchased on an impulse just because it was $20 was the Makeup by Mario Lip Plumping Serum. That product is okay, but I didn't really do my research on the product. I saw it. I was like, oh, $20, I'll just spend it. I want to try this. And I don't reach for it. It's not something that I care for. And maybe if I would have just done the research beforehand, had it sitting in a wish list and really considered it, I wouldn't have experienced such a flop with it. And the same thing happened with another product that I picked up. So I saw everybody talking about the shade expansion of the Summer Fridays lip oils, and it was a product that I was never really interested in to begin with. But I saw everybody talking about the shade expansion and how gorgeous the shades were. So I went to Sephora, I swatched them, I liked what I saw, but I should have done a little bit more research, really sat on the idea of purchasing them for maybe longer than like a week. And I probably would have realized, you know what, this isn't actually something that I want, and maybe I would prefer something else. And it ended up being that I didn't enjoy the lip product itself. I found that it really dried out my lips. I wasn't enjoying it. It didn't last a long time on my lips. But if I would have researched the product, I would have known this ahead of time, and then I wouldn't have had to make another trip to Sephora to return the item, and then in turn, it became a huge waste. You know, try to keep the impulse shopping to an absolute minimum, because I find it's really not successful if you're just going in blind, buying whatever it is that you see. That's where you're going to have the most regrets. Another thing that I try to keep as a rule is to focus on the restocks when shopping the Sephora sale. So if there's anything that I'm running low on and it's an absolute holy grail product of mine, so for example, the Skin Fix Foaming Oil Cleanser, I love this cleanser so much. And if I didn't just recently purchase the Pre-Cool Cleanser, I would probably be picking up a backup of this Skin Fix cleanser, because this would be the perfect time for me to purchase it where it's 20% off. So if you're running low on something like your lip pencil that you wear every day, or your concealer, or your skin tint, this would be the perfect time to buy the backup of it. Don't buy like 3 backups, because there's no reason to do that. But just purchasing something that you can have on hand for when you do run out, now would be the time to get it, because you are saving a little bit of money in that case. I also like to kind of focus more on restock items, because that does also help prevent you from impulse shopping, and then you've already done your research. Like, do we see how everything kind of flows together in a string? It all ties together. Focus on your restocks first and foremost. If you don't really have anything that you want to or need to restock on, then you can consider the items that are on your wish list. And this is probably the biggest, most important rule of all. You need to set a budget, babe. You need to set a budget, especially with the economy today. You cannot go in there blind with absolutely no thought in the world of how much money you would like to spend. Because believe me, if you go in there with your wish list and your wish list is like 12 items deep and you have no care and consideration for a budget, you will leave with all 12 items, and that's going to be hefty, because we know that even going in for a 2-item run, that can run you $100. So imagine what 12 is going to do to you. It's not a good idea. When I shop the Sephora sale, I like to set a budget. I think the highest budget that I've had was around like $300, and I was able to get a fair amount of what I wanted from my wish list. This year, when shopping the sale, I am probably going to be willing to spend no more than $150, and even that is pushing it a little bit. I don't really have anything personally on my wish list that I'm really interested in buying. I think I might opt to support a Canadian-owned indie brand instead that isn't offered at Sephora. In any case, though, if I do shop the sale, that's my budget, $150. If my wish list is over $150, that means that I really, really, really have to think long and hard about what it is that I actually want to buy. And what's nice about this is you really get a better sense of what you're willing to spend your money on. Last year, when I was shopping the sale, I had a basket with about 7 items that I picked out of my wish list, and those items were still over my budget. I was really able to take a look at the bigger picture and think, okay, yes, this item here is really pretty. I've wanted it for a little while, but do I really need it? No, I think I would much rather purchase this item instead. So it's really giving you the opportunity to sit with how you're feeling in that moment and actually think about the items that are the most important in your wish list. And then this also helps to tie in with the whole no impulse purchasing, because then you might realize, okay, maybe this item on my wish list was actually a little bit of an impulse based off of what I've been seeing online with the most viral thing. And everything ties together. I think if you're going into the Sephora sale with your research being done, you've made your wish list, you're not doing any impulse shopping, you have your plan, you're focusing on your restocks first and foremost, and you've also gone in and you've set your budget, I honestly think that is going to be the best way for you to have a successful shop. Again, we don't really need anything, and the Sephora sale isn't anything crazy anyway. They could definitely be giving us better discounts, but I think if you actually keep all of these rules and have those considerations in mind as well, you'll find that it makes shopping the sale a little bit more digestible. You'll feel a little bit more relaxed. You'll just feel better about the money that you're spending, honestly. I think it's my second or third sale where I followed these rules, and I can honestly say it has been the best decision that I've made for myself. I'm accumulating less makeup that's just sitting on my vanity. I do still have products that it's going to take me ages for me to use up, but also at the same time, at least the products that are sitting on my vanity, they're good products that I actually really enjoy because I took the time to research these products, figure out what it is that I actually want in my collection, and they're not really going to waste. That is what I will be doing going into the Sephora sale for the springtime. Let me know down in the comments if you will be following any of these rules before you go and shop the sale, or maybe you have some rules of your own. I would definitely love to hear them because maybe there's rules that I need to add for myself as well. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more of me, make sure you are subscribing to my channel. Thumbs up this video if you liked it, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!